Now we're looking for, now don't worry about step 4, you can come straight to step 5 now, because we needed that to get the answer for number 5. The turning point is 3 minus 1. So the turning point, we want to know where's the turning point. 3 minus 1, well there's 3, and we come down to minus 1. So the turning point is here. There's 3, there's minus 1. There's 3, there's minus 1, so this is the turning point. Now what's going to happen here? The graph is going to turn here, so, and it's a minimum value graph. So the graph is going to come here and it's going to do that. It's going to turn. So it's just a tip. It's nice to do this part first. So we know it's going to turn there. Now once we've got the turning point plotted like that, it's very easy now. From the turning point, it will go to 4, and then from 4, it will go up like that. Alright, and then let's see what happens on the other side. Right, let's see what happens on the other side. From the turning point, it will come through 2 like that, right? And then from here, it will go through 8 and go up like that. Now don't worry if your hand shivers and if the curve is not very smooth, etc. We don't give you marks for smoothness, etc. But as long as it's going through the correct points, alright? So there's your parabola, and make sure that your parabola is labeled. Y is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 8. And that's a rough sketch of that parabola. So have a lot of fun drawing parabolas. Shortly I'll give you an example for you to try by going through all the steps and then doing a rough sketch.
Not too small.
Try this parabola quickly. Y is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 12. Do your 5 steps and then do a rough sketch. Do your 5 steps and then do your rough sketch for the parabola. Alright, welcome back after all that hard work. So step 1, you were trying to find the y-intercept. Y-intercept, you put x equal to 0. Now you are smart. If you put 0 here and you put 0 there, you are ending up with y is equal to 0 squared minus 4 into 0 minus 12. You see, we put 0 here and there. And that gives you a final answer of minus 12. So we got the y-intercept is equal to minus 12. Alright, let's move to step 2. Step 2, we want to find the x-intercepts. Now for the x-intercepts, we have to put y equal to 0. Once again, we are gone smart now. What we say is we better write it like this. X squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to y. So we start like that. And then we put y equal to 0. Now we have to factorize this. So the factors are x minus 6 x plus 2. And you must test x times x, x squared, Minus 6 times 2, minus 12. And that gives you minus 6, and that gives you plus 2. Add them up, you get minus 4x. And then each bracket will now equal to 0. And you are solving this, and you get x is equal to 6, x is equal to minus 2. So we have found the x-intercepts, and they are 6 and minus 2. Right, we'll move on to step 3. Now, step 3, we want to find the axis of symmetry. So step 3, axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. Your formula is x is equal to. Well, before we use the formula, we need to identify a, b, and c. So let's write the question down. Y is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 12. And that number 1 is understood. So a is 1. B is minus 4. And c is minus 12. So your formula is minus b over 2a, which gives you minus into the value of b over 2 into the value of a, and minus, that's minus 4. C is minus 12. Right, let's check this up. B is minus 4, C is minus 12. Alright, so we have a little bit of an untidy number here, but it doesn't matter. That's 4 over 24, which is equal to 1 over 6. Alright, let's just check this up again. Minus b over 2a. So it's minus into minus 4 all over. Ah, there is a mistake. That is a mistake. This is not a, isn't it? This is, that's why the mistake. A is 1. So sorry about that, A is 1. And it's nice I'm making mistakes, so you know that if I can make mistakes, you can make mistakes. But you see, you must be smart like me too. You must check. So, you must check. B is minus 4. And this is A. A is 1. So, and generally we don't give you untidy numbers like this. So when you're getting an untidy fraction like that, you must know something might be going wrong. Right, numerator is 4. Denominator is 2. Final answer is x is equal to 2. What are you going to do now? You're going to put in original equation to get the minimum value. Right, let's see. We are now on step 4. We are on step 4. Right, in step 4, once again, we study A. A is greater than 0. Therefore, the graph will be valley shaped, and we are looking for a minimum value. Right. So, your original equation is y is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 12. And you've got to put x equal to 2. Now that x is equal to 2 is coming from here. It's coming from the axis of symmetry. So this will be 2 squared minus 4 into 2 minus 12. That gives you 4 minus 8 minus 12. Well, I'm just doing it step by step, but you could have put it in your calculator. That will give you minus 20 plus 4 minus 16. So your minimum value is minus 16. And finally, step 5. You want the coordinates of the turning point. Coordinates of turning point. Right, the coordinates of the turning point, like I told you before, it is axis of symmetry, and then the minimum or the maximum value. So the axis of symmetry in this case, the axis of symmetry is 2. So it is 2, and the minimum value is minus 16. So this is minus 16. So we have done the 5 steps, and we are now ready to do a rough sketch. So we'll give you a few seconds to just have a look at that, study it, and just in case you have some questions, you can ask those questions. Alright, we are ready to draw the rough sketch. Okay, so let's start. Y is equal to minus 12. So the y-intercept is somewhere here. Now I don't have to write all the numbers. I can just write it like this. Y-intercept is here, minus 12. I don't have to show you all the numbers here because it's a rough sketch. The x-intercept, x is 6. So 6 is somewhere here. There's 6, and I put a dot on it. And the next intercept is minus 2. So minus 2 is somewhere here, and I write minus 2, and I put a dot here. Now you must practice. Don't be afraid and don't shiver and shake. Just practice and just judge. Right. Now, what is the next one? Axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is 2. Now if 0 is here, 6 is here, then 2 is somewhere here. Right? 2 is somewhere here. Now the axis of symmetry is going through 2. X is equal to 2. So there's your axis of symmetry. Right. And finally, you want to put in your coordinates of the turning point, which happen to be 2 minus 16. 2 minus 16. Alright, so there's 2. Down here is minus 12. So minus 16 will be even lower than that. So it's somewhere here. Remember, it's just a rough sketch. So minus 16 is somewhere here. Okay? So I'll do this one again. 2 minus 16, there's your 2. You come down here, that's minus 12. So minus 16 will be even below that. So it will be down somewhere here. Right, and the graph is turning at this point. So it is valley shaped, so it is coming here and turning like that. So once you got the turn done, then it's very easy to complete thereafter. Now from here, I must go up to 6 and straight through it. And don't worry if your lines are not too smooth and straight, etc. As long as you're joining the correct points, you see. That's most important. Alright, and let's see what happens on the other side. This side now, what happens? From here, we'll have to go through 12, minus 12, and then go through minus 2. So from here, you go through minus 12, and then you go through minus 2, and you go up there like that. And then don't forget to label your graph. Y is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 12. And your parabola is drawn. Alright, so we may just zoom in a little bit so that you can see the picture a little more clearly. Alright, we'll be doing a few more examples a little later, where we will do examples with maximum value. Hello there. Right, let's have a look at this example. Sketch y is equal to minus x squared plus 2x plus 24. So if you have to sketch this, you have to go through your usual steps. Step 1, y-intercept, put x equal to 0. So y is equal to minus into 0 squared plus 2 into 0 plus 24, and you end up with y is equal to 24. So you got your y-intercept. Next, you want to find your x-intercept. For x-intercepts, you put y equal to 0. So, you can write that question, y is equal to minus x squared plus 2x plus 24. You can rewrite it as minus x squared plus 2x plus 24 is equal to y. And then you put y equal to 0. When you put y equal to 0, now you've got a negative x squared here. So you don't like to do this. You don't like working with the negative here. So you can make your life easy by multiplying this whole thing by negative 1. So this becomes x squared minus 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. And then you factorize. Once again, you've got to know your factorization. If you don't know your factorization, you are in trouble. So the factors over here will be x minus 6, x plus 4. Test. X squared minus 6x plus 4x will give you minus 2x minus 24. And then x minus 6 is equal to 0, or x plus 4 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 6, or x is equal to minus 4. So we got our x-intercepts. Alright, now we're going to move on to find the axis of symmetry. Right, now we're trying to find the axis of symmetry. So you say x is equal to minus b over 2a. Right, so if you look there, minus into 2 all over 2 into negative 1. Remember, I'm picking these up from the original question. So that gives you minus 2 over minus 2, finally 1. So your axis of symmetry, x is equal to 1. And then finally, because a is negative, you are now going to find a maximum value. And how do you find the maximum value? You take that question, the original question, minus x squared plus 2x plus 24, and into it you substitute the axis of symmetry. And then you put that into your calculator, and when you put that into your calculator, you should get 25. 24, 25, 26, minus 1, 25. Right. So you get the answer 20, 25. So your turning point finally is your axis of symmetry, which happens to be 1, and your maximum value 25. So this is the maximum value graph. Okay, we are now ready to draw the graph. Once again, it's going to be a rough sketch. It's just a rough sketch. You don't have to be accurate, right? Let us see. The y-intercept is 24. So let's say 24 is here. So you put a dot on 24. The y-intercept is 24. Now the x-intercept is 6 and minus 4. So minus 4 will be somewhere there, and 6 will be somewhere there. Dot on 6, dot on minus 4. Then your axis of symmetry is 1. So 1 is somewhere here. So you got a broken line going through 1, which is your axis of symmetry. And that's x is equal to 1. And your turning point is 125. So there's 1, and that's 24. That's 24. So 25 is somewhere here. 25 is somewhere here. So 125 is here. And it's a right. So you plotted 125. That's the point, 125. Now, it's a maximum value graph. That means the graph comes here and turns like that. So that's the meaning of a maximum value turning point. Now, it's very easy. We're just going to join now that to that, through the 4, down that way. And then from here, we join and we come down here through 6, down this way. And don't forget to label y is equal to x squared, negative x squared plus 2x plus 24. So here you had a graph that's called a maximum value graph, and that's how it looks. And it's done. So we'll give you a few seconds to study it and to clear your thoughts. Right, now we're doing a very special graph. Y is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 6. Now why I'm saying it's special, because if you try to factorize this, it's not going to factorize. It's not going to factorize. In fact, it will not factorize at all. You cannot, if you use a formula 2, you will get unreal roots. So you got no x-intercepts at all here. So let's go through our steps. Number 1, the y-intercept. By now you are smart enough and you know that the y-intercept is going to be 6. Now number 2, how will you know that this one's got no factors, it's got no x-intercepts? Well, you can work out b squared minus 4ac. If you work out b squared minus 4ac, you'll get 2 squared, b squared, minus 4 into a into c, and you get 4 minus 24, which is equal to minus 20. Now, b squared minus 4ac is given the name the discriminant. And the symbol for discriminant is a triangle, and that triangle is called delta. Right. If the discriminant is negative, the quadratic will not factorize. Therefore, do not try to find intercepts. Then we move on to finding the axis of symmetry. X is equal to negative b over 2a, which will give us negative into 2 all over 2 into 1, which will give you negative 2 over 2, which will give you negative 1. Now you want to find the minimum value. How we know it's a minimum value? Because a is greater than 0. So that a we're talking about is here. This is a. A is 1, b is 2, c is 6. Now, substitute y is equal to x squared plus 2x plus 6, and you will substitute here minus 1 squared plus 2 into minus 1 plus 6, and put that into your calculator, and you will get the answer 5. When you put this in a calculator, you will get the answer 5. Right. So, okay, step 5, we want to find the turning point. So the turning point will be axis of symmetry, minimum value. So the turning point is minus 1, axis of symmetry minus 1, minimum value 5. And once again, we are now ready to draw the graph. It's going to be a rough sketch. Right, there we are. There's 0. Right, so we start from one side. Y is equal to 6 is somewhere here. So that's 6. You place a dot on 6. Usually, we look for x-intercepts. There are no x-intercepts here, so we don't worry about it. So we can't put anything on the x-axis because there are no x-intercepts. Next, we look for the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is minus 1. So minus 1 is somewhere here. Minus 1. So we will have a broken line going through. Minus 1 like that. Right? And this is x is equal to minus 1. And the turning point is minus 1, 5. So 5 will be somewhere here, just below 6. So the turning point is here. Minus 1, 5. Minus 1, 5. The turning point is minus 1, 5. And it is a minimum value turning point, which means the graph does that there. So at this turning point, the graph is going to do that. Because it is a minimum value turning point. So that's what the graph will do there. Now, it's very easy. From here, I must continue the line this way and take it up. Right? Don't worry if it's not a very smooth curve. That's not a problem. Right? And then on the other side, we just continue it that way there. So there's your parabola. It has no x-intercepts. Right? And it is drawn. Okay. Now this graph gives us an opportunity to learn something new. Now, the graph is drawn. So let's learn one more new thing. Now you see this point here, from here to here. It is 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit. The distance is 1. Therefore, there will be another point on the other side there, exactly 1 unit away. So in other words, there will be another point here, minus 2, 6. So there will be another point there, minus 2, 6. And that point, minus 2, 6, is called the reflection. This is the reflection or the image of C, of the y-intercept. It's an image of the y-intercept, or it is a reflection of the y-intercept in the line x is equal to 1. So remember always that in line with the y-intercept, if this is 1 unit away, then 1 unit away on that side, that will bring you to minus 2. So minus 2, 6 is the image of C, or minus 2, 6 is the image of the y-intercept, or minus 2, 6 is the reflection of the y-intercept in the line x is equal to minus 1. So remember, you can get parabola without x-intercepts, and that's what we were showing you here in this example. Alright, shortly we will do one more example in a parabola where you don't have exact x-intercepts, you have approximate x-intercepts. Alright, so we'll give you a few seconds just to have a look at this and to consolidate, and then we'll move on to the next example. Alright, so we're looking at our last example on drawing parabola. So here is a question, and we'll just go step by step and we will see what happens. Number one, if you want the y-intercept, but by now you are gone quite smart and you know that if I put 0 here, then the y-intercept is 10. Number two, x-intercepts. I'm